White medium star full story. I didn't plan to touch her. No one in their right mind would willingly lay a hand on an Ethern sentinel, not unless they wanted a very quick and very painful end. Yet there I was, reaching toward her hair, and watching her eyes widen in a way no one on this station thought was even possible. But let me start at the beginning. At the moment I arrived on Lysara Station, a place that looked like a cross between a palace, a cathedral, and a living creature made of silver bone. I had been invited as a diplomat. Technically, realistically, I was the least experienced cultural envoy Earth had. But I was the only one willing to come after hearing the rumors that the Ethern race hated physical contact, that their sentinels were cold, emotionless warriors, and that their highest-ranking sentinel, Sarai, the one assigned to guard me, was considered the most untouchable of them all. No one touched her. No one spoke to her unnecessarily. No one even approached her without permission. They warned me repeatedly. And yet, I touched her. Beginning. Arrival on Lysara Station. The docking bridge released a soft tone as it sealed. Silver panels glowed beneath my boots, forming a path that illuminated with each step. A group of Ethern attendants bowed with flawless grace, but my attention was immediately drawn to the figure standing behind them. Right. She was tall, almost statuesque, with pale lavender skin, white markings like starlight streaking along her neck and arms, and hair braided in intricate metallic loops that shimmered with an inner glow. Her expression was neutral. Too neutral. "Human envoy," she said, voice smooth and controlled. "I am Sentinel Sarai. You will follow me." I nodded, trying to appear confident. "Sure. Happy to be under your protection." A flicker of something, annoyance, confusion, passed through her silver eyes before she turned sharply and began walking. The attendants whispering nearby didn't bother hiding their shock. The human addressed her casually. "He'll be frozen where he stands before the next cycle." Sarai does not tolerate familiarity. I tried to ignore them, but I did notice Sarai's pace quicken, as if she didn't want to hear more. The warning. The tour of the station was stunning. Living crystal structures, flowing corridors of light, gardens with plants that floated rather than grew, but everything felt overshadowed by one constant. Sarai watching me. Always. Never close enough to touch. Never far enough to disappear. Just observant. I finally broke the silence during our walk through the Hall of Resonance, a massive chamber of suspended crystal pillars humming harmonically. "So," I said, "is it true Ethern sentinels can hear thoughts?" She stopped. "Completely." "You ask too many questions," she replied quietly. "That sounds like a yes." She stared at me, jaw tight. "You would be wise to keep your distance. Physical contact with my kind is not advised." "What happens?" "We do not respond well." "That sounds vague." "It is meant to be." She resumed walking, leaving me more confused than reassured. The moment. Later, when we entered the central arboretum, my curiosity overcame caution. The air shimmered with luminous pollen. Trees twisted in spirals. And Sarai's hair, normally tightly braided, had loosened slightly, shimmering like strands of glowing liquid. "You're staring," she said without turning. "Sorry," I said. "Your hair is really something." Her hand twitched at her side. Not much, just a flinch. But it was the first non-controlled gesture I'd seen her make. She was uncomfortable, maybe even embarrassed. I should have stopped there. I didn't. "No one's allowed to touch Ethern hair," she said softly. "Not even other Ethern." "Why not?" "Because it carries resonance, emotion, connection. Contact can trigger." She stopped. "Trigger what?" "Yes. She didn't answer. But something about the way she stood, rigid, uncertain, made me step closer. Too close. Human, she warned sharply. I just want to see, I said. And before she could move away, I reached out and gently touched one glowing strand of her hair. The breaking of a rule. Time stopped. Literally. I swear the floating pollen froze midair. A faint hum traveled from her hair through my fingertips, then up my arm and into my chest. It was warm, not burning, not painful. Just warm. Intense. Life. Sarai inhaled sharply, a sound halfway between shock and something else entirely. Her hand, usually steady and disciplined, shook. You, she whispered, voice cracking, should not have done that. I'm sorry, I said immediately. I didn't mean. Her fingers closed around my wrist. Not harshly, not angrily, just tightly, like she didn't want to let go. I stared at her, stunned. Sarai. She looked at my hand holding her hair, then at my wrist in hers, then back at me. This is forbidden, she whispered. I should push you away. I should report you. I should. She didn't finish. Instead, she held my hand tighter. The attendants had warned me Ethern were emotionless. They were wrong. Her expression was overflowing with emotion. Fear, curiosity, confusion, and something fragile beneath it all. Why didn't you move? I whispered. I wanted to see, she admitted. The shock nearly knocked me back. You wanted me to touch you. No, she said quickly, too quickly, then corrected herself. Not exactly. I wanted to understand why you looked at me the way you did. What way? Like I wasn't untouchable. Her voice was barely audible. And when you smiled, she added, I felt resonance. No human has ever caused that. I swallowed, realizing the truth. Ethern didn't avoid touch because it was dangerous for us. They avoided it because it was overwhelming for them. Sarai, I said softly, I didn't mean to frighten you. Her grip tightened again. You didn't frighten me. For the first time, her cheeks glowed faintly. The Ethern equivalent of a blush. You affected me. The confession. A sudden vibration rippled through the arboretum. Ethern guards appeared at the entrance. Sarai's subordinates. Sentinel, one of them called. We sensed an unauthorized resonance spike. Then they saw it. Her hand wrapped around my wrist. My hand in her hair. Time froze again. Figuratively this time. Sentinel Sarai, the guard said slowly. Should we remove the human? Her eyes flicked between them. Then back to me. And then she said something none of them expected. No. The guards stiffened. No. One repeated, incredulous. Sarai stepped closer to me. Just slightly, but enough to make it undeniable. He touched my resonance strand, she said softly. And I allowed it. Loud. Their faces filled with silent shock. We will leave you, one guard finally said, bowing stiffly. This will be reported to the council. Sarai didn't flinch. Only when the guards exited did she finally release my wrist. But then she whispered, almost to herself. I don't regret it. The consequences. After the guards left, Sarai guided me out of the arboretum and into a quiet observatory overlooking a spiral nebula. You should sit, she said quietly. Are you okay? Yes. No, she said. Yes. I do not know. Pacing was new. Sentinels never paced. Sarai, I said gently. I didn't come here to cause trouble. You didn't cause trouble, she said. You caused resonance. She looked up at me then, eyes glowing brighter than normal. Do you know what resonance means for an Ethern? No. It means connection. Means compatibility. It means. She hesitated. It means choosing. Choosing what? Yes. She took a slow breath. A partner. Froze. Completely. So you think I... Yes, she said before I could finish. You triggered resonance. It is rare. Almost unheard of. And the council will want answers. From who? From me, she said. And from you. Ending the choice. The council chamber was grand, filled with pulsing crystalline light and high-tier Aethern leaders. Sarai stood beside me, closer than she needed to. The councillor stared down at us, eyes glowing with icy silver. You touched the sentinel, he said to me. I nodded nervously. And she responded, he added, turning to Sarai. Yes, she said, calm but firm. Why? Sarai slowly placed a hand over her chest, over the resonant markings that still faintly glowed. Because he did not fear me, she said. Because he touched me without malice. Because he smiled at me as though I were more than a sentinel. The chamber whispered. And because, she continued, I wanted him to. This time even I inhaled sharply. The council deliberated, arguing with harmonic pulses, until finally the lead counselor raised a hand. Resonance cannot be forced, he declared. It cannot be denied. If the sentinel chooses the human, then the council must honor it. My heart skipped a beat. Sarai's hand brushed mine. Barely, but intentionally. The counselor turned to me. Human, do you accept the resonance bond? Sarai's fingers curled slightly, waiting, hopeful, terrified. I looked at her, the stoic sentinel who nearly broke when I touched her hair, who stood up to her entire order, who let herself feel something she wasn't supposed to feel. And I gave my answer. I accept. Sarai exhaled softly. Sound of pure relief. A sound of someone who had been holding back an entire universe of emotions. She reached for my hand. Not pulling me. Not trapping me. Just holding it. Gently. Warmly. And this time, I held her hand back.